heck's wrong with this thing?
It's a pile of junk.
That, I thought maybe we could just take it apart.
I guess we can take it apart and see how big of a pile of junk it is.
Fair enough. All right, it is time to get the gasser back in working order. You guys might have seen in the last video, pulled it out from its corner that it's been hiding in for 10 years.
Hibernation.
That's actually true.
It's hibernating.
It was hibernating for 10 years, collecting dust and getting parts robbed off of it.
Dust, rust, and getting molested.
It basically was.
It was.
Poor thing had a lot of parts stolen from it. So we got it pulled out. You guys can see that in the last video, linked below. And now it's time to get the Hemi out of it. 392 blown alcohol Hemi. Don't know what's going on inside of it.
I think a melted piston. But it's been a long time. I really don't remember.
Yeah, so last time we had it out in like 2013. Leaned it out, I heard the motor, parked it in the corner. That was pretty much the end of that.
Intending to take it apart in a week or so.
Well, it's been
10
a
years
couple
later.
weeks. that's a lot of weeks, guys. So that's like 520 weeks, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that's the way things go around here.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So plan here now is to take the front cap off, pull the motor out, and do a whole lot of investigation and see what's going on inside and figure out how he put this all together 10 years ago.
And to figure out if we can save it.
That's true. We don't even know. We don't.
It's possible. Well, I think with a sleeve at the worst case scenario, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed the block is okay. But for now, time to get this front end tipped forward, take it off, start pulling some stuff. That way, eventually, we're gonna get this back on the track and in working order.
Let's do it.
This one's different than the 55 since the doors have to be closed.
Well, it's a whole different car.
Okay. Look at that tilt front end action. Oh, wow.
What a dust ball.
It is a dust ball. Holy smokes. I think we're gonna be cleaning for a while.
You know what? I got everything on wing nuts. Pop that wing nut if you can.
Wing nut you later. That's not gonna work.
I don't know if that'll work or not. Doesn't look like it. Here.
Here. Nice job, wing nut.
I had forgot that I put all this stuff on wing nuts. This is like starting over.
It's like a new car.
Is that one tight?
Yeah.
The screwdriver's over there. Oh, the dust. I'm suspecting that fuel pump is going to be bad. Don't work?
Here you go, wing nut. This hammer is not hammering so well. Okay.
Must suck to be you.
We should have rolled this out and blown it off.
Okay, so now, as I remember, you gotta, let me spread mine over here.
Okay.
Okay, now you can pull yours off over there.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Bada
Whoa.
bing, bada boom.
That's cool.
You know, if we took the hood off,
I know where you're going with this.
where am I going?
Back of the track.
We could go back of the track or no prep racing. I mean,
It
they
looks
think
like
it's they think it's something new. So straight axle front end jacked up. You know, it's
Weight
like
in the
Nick.
back.
What do you call that?
Long travel?
Long travel stuff. It's just not. It's already traveled.
It does. I knew that's where you're going with that.
It
Man,
would fit right in. Oh, look at
This
this.
needs to be blown off.
I even have wing nuts up here. You want to take the hood off?
I
Or
guess.
do you care?
Well, because will we be setting the front clip back on?
Probably.
Okay, we'll leave it then. Okay. Unless you want it off. Do you want it off?
No, didn't have to. Let's take these and put them over here on the table so they don't get lost.
So the good thing is, it's already kind of pre-disassembled. Transmission's already out. I don't know. This is like a new project that's like newly acquired. I was too young to remember most of it. That's been too long for you.
I forgot a lot of it. And you know what? I really don't even want to work on it. It's like I'm starting to remember things. It's like I've already been here in my life.
And you get to visit it again. I
do. It's like dying and going to hell. I get to come back to the painful stuff.
You're okay.
All right, so what we got to do is pull headers off.
Headers off, and then everything else.
And it looks like this one's been taken off. Some of the nuts have anyway.
Okay.
So I think it's 7/16 12-point nuts, so I'm just going to get a wrench.
Okay.
All right, so you guys told me you wanted mics. Do you remember that? And we tried, we did, but we have had a technical difficulty, which leads us to...
Wait, where's Mike?
Oh, that's the problem. He's missing.
Mike.
The things that are supposed to be the sound here. Yeah, so Meg informed me yesterday that we had a technical difficulty, and for about 14 minutes you guys get to hear us voiceover, but I know you guys like the voiceovers. So, here we are.
Here we are, and it's 8 a.m., and I'm trying to remember what we're doing here, but I think I can.
Okay, that's great. So, headers here coming off. So, remember the whole we parked at 10 years and all that? Well, you parked at 10 years and all that?
I think it was 11, actually. It's 2013.
Oh.
So that makes 11 years.
That's even longer than we thought. Okay. So, going through, taking this thing apart, I think at this point we're probably talking about the fact that you took half of the header bolts off and the other side, half of them, mine were all still on, and you're like, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, but some of the nuts are missing off of them. They got studs because on those early Hemis, oil will leak. Some of those studs go into coolant and some of them go into oil. Thank you, Dodge or Chrysler, whoever. But it's really miserable. So I studded it and put probably red Loctite to keep it from leaking, because when you take a bolt out of a header and you cover your motor with oil, it's not fun. But anyway, some of them are off, and I don't remember why, which is kind of odd because you'd think I'd take them all off or none.
There's a lot of mystery to this motor, quite honestly, because there's a lot
I took
of
the
years
rocker
have passed.
arms off of this driver's side and not the passenger side.
And you know, somewhere about here, and you don't have to go ahead and give away what we found, but as I'm pulling spark plug wires right here, you're picking up spark plugs over on that side, or you had just looked at them, and there was the realization that you said that you thought you melted the motor 10 years ago. Heard a piston.
Coming back from the last pass that it made, it was missing. I could tell that, and I don't remember exactly if I heard it cranking it or if I was just disgusted and put it in a trailer. Probably just tired.
Pretty sure that's what happened, because you thought it was actually on the other side, which is why you pulled that side apart and not this side, which is very odd. Nowadays, I think you would immediately pull both sides apart just out of curiosity.
Yeah, but I was really tired of the car, and I didn't intend for it to sit 11 years. You know, it was like I put it back there and probably started taking it apart, and something happened, shiny something in the corner caught my eye. And literally, and for the younger people, this is how life goes. When you're going to get busy, and next thing you know, it's 10 years later.
That's fair. You're looking there, and you're like, wait, none of these spark plugs are hurt.
Yeah, and look, you're on the magic one.
And I'm like, oh, is this one hurt? Wait a minute. Because, like, you start saying, look, this is about where I say, wait a minute. You had a dead plug. Did you park this thing because it had a dead plug for 10 years?
Yeah, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to take the blower off, and the throttle return spring's still hooked up.
Well, I mean, that's heavy. However, I was pretty entertained by that point, the fact that it did not probably have a melted piston. That's about where we realized it.
Yeah, so when you're pulling the plugs out, you get to that one, and it looks like brand new out of the box. I think you're showing it there or holding it. It's like, yeah, there it is. It's like, wait, this plug wasn't firing. So, you know, it's got a very high-powered ignition system. I don't know why we would have a dead plug, but obviously a wire or a plug, probably a wire. You know, it's going down in that tube. It may have been shorting out, sparking in the tube or something. But so at this point, we're really intrigued. Now let's get the heads off of it, because I want to see this melted piston.
Yeah, the melted piston that doesn't exist.
See, one of the things is it had too small of a fuel pump, because when I bought the Hillborn system, they actually set it up for gasoline, which is what I wanted at the time for whatever reason, I don't remember. But I couldn't really lean on it hard, and I knew the fuel pump was too small, and I think I had leaned it out a little bit on purpose on that pass to try to go faster. So I just had every reason to suspect it melted a piston.
Fair, but I was still highly entertained when that looks like it's probably not. However, we're this far, which we really weren't that far, but we might as well go ahead and take it apart because it's still kind of a mystery in there. And see what it is. We decided to just go ahead and use the Willys as the jack stand, like a nice blue jack stand, instead of pulling it, which worked out pretty good.
Well, at this point, it's like I'm not going to wait and pull the motor and take the heads off out there because I'm dying at this point. We got to figure this out.
These rockers are cool for the Hemi because you just loosen the set screw and then lift them up and move them over. Those are nice.
Yeah, slide them over. Hemi's got some advantages. They got some massive disadvantages as well. Like that head weighs twice what a big block head weighs.
Rocker system weighs a lot too.
It's just so complicated. It's really nice to change the spark plugs though.
It is nice to change the plugs.
It's worth it. Put up with the oil leak and the coolant leak if you had coolant, and the cost and the weight and the small cubic inches for easy to change spark plugs.
And I mean, the rockers are easy to take off. But yeah, so that whole system right there lifts up. So I have no idea what we're talking about here. You're talking about something.
Probably. What do you think's really going to be wrong with this? Actually, I wasn't. At this point, I knew the motor was hurt, so I didn't really care. I just hoped the block wasn't hurt.
At this point, I knew that it wasn't hurt, and you used it as an excuse to do something else for 10 years. But that was probably my Camaro.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly when your Camaro came into our life, and it's still in our life, even though it's not. The results of your Camaro are still haunting us every day.
Okay, now this sucker was glued down.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's not even budging at all. Well, there we go.
It's like it's going to snap. If it snaps, I'll make a billet one. Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, it's just silicone. I must have a bolt in there still. I bet you there's a bolt.
No.
Be...
You guys, we were watching this for the first time too, because it's been like 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, and that's so long anybody can forget.
I already forgot.
Okay.
Why are you turning? Oh, you're turning it over.
I'm turning it so it'll pop the cover on.
I was like, why are you turning this over? It's for me. It's not for you. Not for you. So when we actually did take this out though and opened it up, which I think you guys will see later, I think you'll hear us talk about later, actually a lot of cool stuff in here. But there's stuff here too, like the fact that the push rods are actually gigantic. That's one of them.
Gigantic as in long, not bigger. Okay, here's the magic moment. Oh, no, I haven't even got the other side off yet.
Yeah, because at this point, I don't know why we did it like this.
Oh, wait, I don't see anything wrong.
I think this is where I about to start laughing.
Wait, I expected to see a hole in a piston or a ringland gone or something.
Brand spanking new. That actually looks really good. Like it hasn't ran hardly at all.
Especially for sitting there for 11 years. It could have been rusted. But that right there, I don't remember the issue with that. The valves had hit the pistons, and I posted pictures, and some astute observers said, your valves hit the piston. That could be the miss. No, that was from another pass, another time, another year. I actually floated the valves because a Power Glide's a 2-speed, and I was used to driving a 3-speed, and guess where the next gear, what that is in a Power Glide?
Neutral.
So under load, down track, I stuck the thing in neutral and over-revved the motor and floated the valves, but that's been fixed. It just touched the pistons.
Oh, but wait. Oh, nothing.
What was that?
Except
That
a
was
piece
a
of
bug.
dog food. No, it's a piece of dog food. I don't even know how that got in there. That's still a mystery. But I think you heard a piece of dog food bouncing around plus
That's what it was.
one plug wire.
Did we have Mika? We had Mika then, didn't we?
Yeah, in 2013 we did.
So
she's a small pup.
Mika probably sabotaged me. Look at that. You should have ate it.
That would be disgusting. That was a
I
look of
thought you were
disgust.
going to.
It was an RBF face for sure. But I'm like, did this guy park this? Yes, he did.
I didn't care. I didn't want to. I was done with it.
That's where I'm laughing.
So
right
I
about there.
preserved it. Look at the dirt on the roll bar. It's like, get this off. It's all over me.
Except I'm laughing. That's where I'm like, that's when you parked it. Yeah. But fair enough. You actually did say about there you used it as an excuse.
We should dub words into you. I'm really dumb, but I'm not this dumb.
Hey. My nose itches. Look at this. Wow. Thanks.
Who would expect a spark plug? I mean, brand new plug. I would never think.
I just have to say though, it's a lot different program than to what you would we be running now with the 55. We'd have the 55 yanked halfway apart before it went back in the trailer.
Well, we care. At this point, of gassers and stuff, I just wasn't into it. But, you know, like I said, when I parked it, it wasn't intending to be sit there for 11 years either. I honestly thought I'd get it fixed, and I just lost interest. But
At this point, though, we do realize that the likelihood of it going back together easily is much higher now, and
we also have data now. We could have either downloaded the data and looked at it and figured out what happened, and we'd have been fine. But, you know, it basically, if I had pulled, you know what's stupid is I pulled the driver's side plugs and quit. If I had just walked around and pulled the passenger side plug, but I literally got sidetracked with something and never got back to it. So
that's okay though, because now we get to do it for YouTube, for you guys.
it is okay. What would have became of the car had I fixed it?
Might have been sold. But we are talking here about the fact that since the piston's not melted and the block is not hurt, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. Pretty dramatic.
Boom. That's basically what that looked like. Meg, dub over an explosion sound right there, okay? Like a boom. Bam. That'd be kind of funny.
That's what I thought happened.
Yeah. Notes to the editor at the same time we're talking to you. Oh, I'm talking about the fact that you glued the head gaskets down.
Well, there's a reason for that, because I had a local guy deck that block, and it literally looks like a bastard file. It's so rough. So copper head gaskets just didn't want to seat into it, and the glue's not there for compression because it's got O-rings. It's there for oil, because everything that can leak on that does leak. There's oil that drains back through the head gaskets into the block, down at the bottom of the block, not the top. So I use glue, and look, I'm still fighting with this stupid cover. Man, why did I put that on there?
I have no idea. We should probably find that stuff. No, I think I've said it once. I'll say it again. At least at this point, we don't have to buy more expensive parts.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, because it's not the easiest thing to get.
No, now also the coating in the block. I guess that at the time, that was oil drain.
Yeah, and plus it's just an ugly motor, so, you know, it makes it look a little better.
Also, at this point, about right here, as you see there's crane lifters. And you guys aren't going to get to see this. And we're not even going to try to dub it over. There's a phone call that we had with Nolan from Iski Cams where we made a lot of fun of him for some reason.
And guess what? Part of it was, I bet you don't even have a core. But guess what? We still don't have a cam.
So Nolan, if you hear this is your call out, since you can't hear the mic that we
It was supposed to go out last Wednesday, and we didn't get it, so naturally I'm concerned about it, and I messaged him last night. He said, let me check. I'll get back with you. Well, I don't know when that's going to be.
Iski, we love you, but you guys, if you...
Get my cam.
If you're missing parts...
Dude.
That's because you're ahead of us in line. Okay, next up, you know, I'm thinking... Because I have no idea where we get sound back, so this could abruptly cut at any minute now, because I think this is like 14 minutes in of us talking. Yeah?
Yeah, probably. Seems like it.
Seems like forever. Well, I mean, we're at 13 minutes. I think you guys get sound back at 14 minutes. If this has been the most boring section for you, well...
Just fast forward.
Now that you're at the end, fast forward.
There's a little arrow on the side over there that takes you forward or back, 10 seconds or something?
Yeah, you can even skip more than that.
I don't want to hear those nerds talking.
Oh, I'm about to pause this. Oh, my phone looked like it was about to die. I thought we were about to lose all this. You probably would have been really upset.
Yeah, I'd have gone to work. You're just going to have to cut this section out.
But it turns out it's not.
I'm actually excited because it had a little too much cam in it. It had a cam equal to what they had at the end of the gasser days, the gasser war. So we're downsizing. We actually sent that cam to Nolan, and he's grinding some of the lift out of it, and he's sending us one that's a little different than that even. So I actually think it's going to run better and do better with the smaller cam.
It should be good. It'll all be for the good. I'm really stuck on. Oh, still a silent movie. Okay. I'm not sure. No, I think the cam will be it'll be good.
So see that coil on the firewall by the mag?
Yeah.
I actually stripped the guts out of that mag. I've still got them, but I don't know if I'll put them back in. For whatever reason, I thought I wanted to go with the coil and ignition. So I used a 7AL box, and I used the mag guts, basically the points, to trigger the 7AL box and run that coil, which, I could have 2 steps and all that sort of stuff that way. Otherwise, you just got a dumb magneto that fires, and that's it. It's wide open or nothing.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably go back with a 7AL box, and they got a new one, a 7AL3 Plus or something that's got some pretty cool stuff, because it's gonna have again a power glide in it. So we launch on the trans brake. We're not racing vintage gasser stuff, so it's pretty cool to put it on the chip and let the button out, ride the wheelie bars. So it works better with that digital ignition.
That's fair. I feel like we've bored these guys long enough. Now that it's in time lapse, I think this is about where Meg will probably dub some music back in.
So enjoy watching us pull that chunk of iron out of there, and then we'll start taking it apart. It looks good inside. I mean, the motor's built basically like the 55 motor. It's just antique.
I hear sound. Okay, Dad's going to work. We're going to do this. Bye, guys.
Yes.
We'll keep watching the video. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I don't know if this got a nut on it. And it does.
All of the fuel system's gonna have to be cleaned up and replaced, most likely.
Pretty sure. And this one's out.
Can you pull on that or something, or push it back? Okay, that just took the whole bit.
This
There we
one.
go.
Okay, we gotta come out far enough to get past those studs. It's hitting something. Can you tell what it is? Can I might be able to crank it down in the back and up in the front. I think the studs are just...
It's hitting the pan's hitting the gear.
Okay, so is everything loose back there?
Okay, you look good.
Push the carb down. And over tools. Okay.
Wow.
We need an engine stand. Wonder where one's at. Back there by the bandsaw.
It's rolling away.
Yeah, the flat spots in the tires. So what we'll have to do is zip that flywheel off of there and then take the gap that's played off. So I need a 3/4 inch with a 1/2 inch impact.
There's a lot going on that flywheel.
Look at all the bolts they use.
That's what I'm looking at. See,
I mean,
4, 6.
that's Hemi. Debbie thinks you can do 6. And that's got lots.
So I didn't find anything in the top end. Probably there's nothing to find down here. He just wants to look at how pretty it is.
It's been a long time. I don't even remember how I made the cross bolts attached to the cap. I know how I did it on the Chevy, but I don't know on this dinosaur.
So this down here is what we're referring to as a girdle. And this is very similar to the girdle that's on the 55 that we were talking about in some of the last videos.
Yeah, there's probably not another 392 Hemi. It's similar to like a Donovan, which was a 392 base motor, but it had cross bolt main or a girdle thing built onto it, the cast aluminum block. But as far as an iron block goes, it's way overkill, maybe superior, maybe. You're way butt hair fingers.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. Let's populate.
Sludge. Ooh, look at the sludge.
Yeah, that's got some ooey gooey, rich and chewy. Look at my trap door though. So that's why the oil's clean, because all the crap is settled down in there. Look at that big Titan oil pump. Look at that nice windage tray. I honestly don't remember any of this.
All brand new.
So let's zip that off with the gun. Yeah, I'm kind of impressed. I mean, the guy that did that took his time and did a nice job of it. You can't prove that I mean, I don't remember it. I've had a lot of things go through since then.
This one's exited. Left.
Gone.
Where are you putting that?
I don't know, you need to do something with it.
You want to put it in that pan and we'll just...
Ooh, that's pretty.
Dang. That looks good. Look at the red assembly lid.
So I did it the same. Wait. Man, look at that sophisticated cap. I remember now, but I honestly had forgot. So I CNC machined this whole cap.
Holy shit.
Instead of just corners like I did on the 55, I went up over the cap, followed the contour of the cap.
You were awfully fancy.
Man, there's a ton of work. I spent a lot of nights, a lot of days here. Look at those big bitchin' rods.
Wow. I don't see a reason to take this apart. Look at this. Why isn't it this nice on the 55?
Yeah, it's nicer than the 55.
So the girdles are something that we want to do. We're not going to tell you guys more of those details, but we want to make them because they make sense. But they are not simple.
Well, doing this 4-bolt main cap, I mean, it's not just, a lot of people only do the 3 centers. This has got billet, it's only 2-bolt on the front and back, but it's billet steel instead of the cast. So all this had to be drilled, tapped. The 6 bolts here to put the 4 bolts in the middle, they're diagonal, you know, they're not straight down, they're angled. And then the back ones, they pretty much, the back and front pretty much bolt on, but you gotta machine, you gotta line bore the block.
Now, why did you coat this? I remember you coating the inside of the block, but I don't remember why.
For oil to drain back, so it makes oil drain back faster. But that's a Moldex crank, and I remember the crank is cracked. It's got a crack in it, but the old dudes, what they told me to do was watch it and then measure it and then watch it and just see how far the crack migrates. It's in the fillet of one of them. I don't remember if it's a main or a rod, but it's a billet crank and it's nice.
And that shows how the old guys are different than the new guys, because that is scary.
You know, not with 1,000 horsepower. So you just, it may never go anymore. You know, it may be fine for, it'll be fine for the rest of this thing's time. But it's not a bad, I mean, that's a 4-bolt main billet cranked MGP billet rod. Arius, I think, pistons, if I remember right.
Huh. Look at this. you got all the stuff stamped right here. Port, mains, rods. Why do you say Howard's?
I don't know.
It says Howard.
Rod 75 Howard. Oh, MGP. So I guess I've got a brand new set of Howard's rods, and I guess when I stamped that I was going to use them, and I ended up using MGPs.
Okay, so Dad actually didn't add a lot of stuff to do to this today over his sleeping period.
What do you want me to do? Take it apart just for the film?
No, I just figured that's what you would do.
I don't see any reason. I mean, I'm taking the balancer off or the hub only because we're going to take this junky cam out of here and put a brand new ISKI cam in it.
So fun fact, Nolan actually trained under Crane.
Under Harvey Crane.
Yeah.
So, you know, Harvey Crane was an innovator and, you know, a real hot rod dude. But during this time, when I bought this cam, Crane was having financial problems and they went out of business. So I think I honestly bought this cam right when they were probably, you know, in a dilemma. You know, what do we do? You know, we're going broke and we're running out of money. Oh, there's a cam sale. Let's sell them this one, because it was a different company. It just had the Crane name. A lot of that stuff sold off to different companies. I mean, they had an auction shortly after I bought this cam. So I think it's not Crane itself. Like everything else about it, I forgot that it had that nice gear drive in there.
Which looks brand new.
Basically, it all is brand new. So, you know, you just can't build a much nicer 392.
I was showing them your cover. This is it.
That's gasket's going to be hard to get.
Yeah.
Got to order some gaskets. I've got some stuff, but I don't have that. Yeah, that's nice. I forgot about it. So I can take the cam out now. I couldn't remember anything about the motor. I have put it out of my mind. And there was
It had a melted piston after all.
not much mind there anymore. It's all consumed by 55 Chevys.
Oops.
That's it. My whole life has turned into a big block Chevy.
It's funny the amount of things that stopped in 2013, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Funny things at what?
How many things that could stop in 2013 when the Camaro started?
Yeah, my life. It literally stopped our life. My business stopped. And it's all been drag week related. Thanks, drag week. Ever since.
Sounds like it's a bad thing. Okay, so Dad decided in 2007 to 2013 to keep a diary. We used to do these binders.
Stuff's falling apart in there.
We used to do these binders, and we have kind of switched recently to doing Google spreadsheet, see how that works. But his diary here, he's like, today I talked to so-and-so. And apparently his notes are really gonna help going back together. And stuff in the book was passes from Rocky Mountain Raceway 2019 with my Camaro. And that's more passes in a day than we do in a full week with a 55.
How many passes is that? 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
7 passes in one day, and they range from 9 something to 842. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
I guess if I was that inconsistent, I'd keep making passes too.
Well,
At least you ran a couple 840s that day on an 850 cert cage, so
True.
you were
Okay.
trying to get kicked out of the track.
that was it. Okay, so talk about your diary.
Well, I mean, I don't remember anything. I honestly couldn't even, I hadn't thought about it, but I didn't remember it having a nice gear drive in it. You know, it's got a billet, Crane cam in it. You know, it's got, everything's the best of the best. So, you know, when I pulled the cover off that we made, or I made, I was kind of shocked to see that. I thought probably has a timing chain in it. I couldn't remember. But what's really cool, I go back and get my book from way back when, and I've got it all. I mean, I took better notes back then. High speed set at 70 pounds, use 80 to 90 jet with 3 thin shims and an 042 spring. I mean, it's all over there. I kind of like talked to Bob McRae about the camshaft. Bob McRae is really smart. And then somewhere here, there's talked to Don Enriquez, which is Hillborn, but look at the original Hillborn papers. Talked to Don Enriquez, talked to them today, and I get all the, you know, what kind of pump I need, all the blower combinations. So I've got it all. I've got my fuel line diagram, which I need because all the fuel lines have been off of it for 10 years. Piston to deck clearance, piston, the rod clearances, the links, everything. So fortunately I kept good notes because it's going to take it when I put it back together, because it's different than what I'm used to now.
He, I mean, did his homework.
So see, my brain is like a computer. It doesn't have a lot of RAM,
Yeah.
random access memory. It has a lot of hard drive. So that's stored in there somewhere, but I gotta bring it back up. I gotta bring it up to the RAM stage because it's been replaced with other stuff in the last 10 years. So once I get it back on my mind, I'm okay. But the hard drive's getting kind of full too, because remember, memory used to be very expensive.
Oh, yeah. So
For you guys,
you have a lot less memory up there.
yeah, for you guys, memory's cheap, but for me, it was
I
expensive.
don't know.
Back
I
in the
have
day.
a bad memory.
You do, especially with people's names.
I literally the other day somebody came up to me and they said, "Hey, Alex," and I had to, like, if you guys have seen the SpongeBob episode where it's like a file cabinet, it's like, and Lucky goes, "I'm so and so," and I was like, to somebody else. Like, actually, he was introducing himself to Nick. It was in Fort Smith. I was like, "Ooh, I dumped you out of my brain a while ago." Like, I just forget, and it wasn't even on purpose. But that happens all the time. Something will happen. Mom has a better memory on some stuff, and she'll like say, "Do you remember this one time?" I'm like, that didn't even make
You know
it
how
to the
you
hard
have,
drive.
you know how like on a computer you'd have a remote hard drive, you'd plug it in.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
have an additional hard drive over here.
dead.
My remote hard drive is sitting over there at the computer right now. So what I do is like, what's that guy's name? And it's not that I'm intentionally being rude, but if you tell me your name right now, I'll shake your hand and it'll go in my brain. I'll say, remember that his name or her name is. And for some reason, 10 seconds later, I can't tell you the name.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Sometimes my files get
It's
dumped out of
embarrassing.
the hard drive, and sometimes they don't even make it to the hard drive. They get to RAM and they
Kick out, go to the trash.
don't have a good memory.
Anyway, so not only does it have a really bitchin' hard drive, gear drive, it's got a really nice cam, but I've been on the text with Nolan this morning from Iski, and I'm gonna send this one to him, and he's going to check it over, just use the cam doctor, I suppose, and get all the specs figured out exactly, make sure it matches the cam card. And I think he's going to regrind this one. We're going to shrink it just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Piston to valve clearance isn't any too much. It's fine as long as nothing goes wrong, but if it over revs or something, it could bend valves again, and I'd rather get a little more piston to valve clearance. And I think the cam's just too big. We were talking last night, the lift specs on this are kind of at the end of the era for that motor. That's when they were getting really fast, really hurting a lot of parts, and the cam is big. It's like those guys used back in the day. He said this is what Junior Thompson ended up with at the end of the run of a 392 Hemi. So I don't need that. We only need 1,000 horsepower, and that's about what these old things make, you know, so it's not worth having the stuff that's right on the edge of self-destruction. But I'm cleaning it up, scraping gaskets off, getting it ready to put a new cam in it when Nolan gets it back here. Alex cleaned on the timing cover, and I've got to do the heads. And other than that, it's ready to go back together. I think everything's good. It's better than I even remembered it being. So we should be good. So I've just about got everything cleaned up. The engine block is cleaned up, the oil pan's cleaned up. I'm doing the valve covers, and I still got the heads, but they're not really that dirty. Everything looks really good. It's got 10 years of dirt. As you can see, like on this valve cover, it's just dirt. Dirt sitting on top of it. So I'm using bleach white, my favorite cleaner. I know I don't get paid for it, but I'm using it to clean the dirt off, and I've hand scrubbed a lot of the block with a rag and gasoline, and it looks good. So I'm just about finished with that. We have to take these out. I really don't want to goober it up.
Well, you're goobering it.
Well, can you tell me how to do it?
I have no words. This is a little pump.
Yeah, it's little.
What is it, like 4 gallons?
Probably. It's only a 1,000 horsepower motor. It's literally built like a 5,000 horse motor.
It's making progress here.
I know, I just don't want
Goober it up.
to stick that screwdriver in there and warp that plate.
It's just as gross as we promised. Mmm. Methanol.
It's probably ruined, but
I wanna
we'll see. That's the seal. We got to keep that in position. See, it's not a rubber seal. It doesn't look like it ate the aluminum, which I'm surprised. That's steel, so it could have rusted. We got to get this off of here. That might come off with some lubricant. Oh, I think it's going to come off. Look at that.
So it's not that bad. Look at that little moon gear.
It's stuccorated. I'm going to get some penetrating oil.
Okay, so it's to be determined if we get a new pump or reuse this one. However, one thing is for sure, we're going to be switching fuel lines. Those need to be. Those need to be swapped.
We'll probably be switching pumps, but that's really stuck on there. We'll probably have to let that penetrate, soak for a while. If Aeromotive's watching this, they're like cringy.
Hey, Aeromotive.
Guess
Need to get in
what we
touch
need?
with you. Need to get in touch with you. This was a Hillborn, but we can make an Aeromotive.
Is that a
pump.
Hillborn?
Yeah. All right, so that is going to be it for the Willys for right now. But that doesn't mean that we don't have other projects coming up. We're just going to be waiting on parts and working around a really busy schedule.
Well, plus we didn't get to clean it like we said we were going to.
True.
Because if you could hear, as soon as we got ready to roll it out, here come the rain and the tiny hail.
Yeah.
So
We're going to do a whole nother video cleaning it up, polishing it, starting on that. But there is no polishing happening prior to washing it deeply. And Mother Nature had a totally different plan for us than we had for it. So
we can't do it in here because it would be a mud puddle.
yeah.
That's how dirty it is.
It's
It's really
gross.
pathetic.
So as we go on the next couple weeks, the Willys, I'm so ingrained to say the 55, the Willys will get cleaned up. It'll start being polished, buffed, all that good stuff. And then we should be getting parts probably in like 6-7 weeks. And that's the first time the schedule really kind of opens up. We'll try to get something done sooner. And yeah, but there'll be plenty of other projects. This is not the only project we're opening up right now.
So what else are we doing?
55 gasser, that's up front. You might have seen that. Dad braced it for a while.
Well, and I had it on drag week in 2016, I think.
Did a real big wheelie in it.
Yeah, it took all 4 wheels off the ground, bent the front wheels and the spindles. I mean, so it's not gonna be blown again. It's going back like I used to race it with a tunnel ram big block in it. And it was a lot of fun, just naturally aspirated.
Yep, so that's one project. Another project is we're talking currently about Land Speed Car. So you guys might know the Hot Rod Special that Keith Turk and David Freiberger ran, and Tanya Turk run together at Land Speed events. We want to go back this year, and Keith is willing to let us take the car here. He'll bring it here, and we just got to come up with a motor for it. So that's what we're working on right now as well. Get ready to do that.
We need a healthy small block to go out and set a record is the goal.
That's the goal. Since I got my license last year, my A license, have to license up one more time. And then what else? We've got there's a bunch of stuff. The 55, of course, we have NHRA Chicago coming up with Peak. That's another thing that we've got to get the 55 tested and all that.
We're going to be doing some testing in the Motor Trend car.
Oh yeah,
too.
the Savoy's here,
Savoy.
so we need to test the Savoy. There's all kinds of stuff. It's a very busy year. Lots of different projects happening. So
The Savoy I'm actually kind of excited about because it's finally going to get to make some good quarter-mile passes.
yeah, Dad's done a lot of work to that. So plenty of stuff coming up. Going to QA1 for a shop tour that we'll be sharing with you guys.
I'm looking forward to that.
It'll be a good time. So all of that to say, lots coming up. Parts for this are on the shelf. More parts are being ordered. Lots of cleaning to do. You will see this again. Be a little while, but not too long. It'll come back. So
Yep, it's going to be a busy summer.
Busy
it's going
year.
to be cool.
Yeah,
Busy year, yeah. That's all right.
all right, with that said, we're going to wrap up this video. We will see you guys very shortly. As always, be happy, go fast, and stay pretty. We will see you next time. We will see you next time.